I've been absent. I know I have. Been quite a long while since I've obviously done a YouTube video, I'm sure. Obviously the world is in absolute uproar about it all. Don't get me wrong, listen, I said I was gonna change it, so I'm gonna change it. I'm also quite proud of myself because I haven't had a haircut in about what seems to be about 4.5 business years. But said I'd start it, so listen, I've got to stick to my word. Last year was a big one for me. We had quite a lot happen throughout the year. The marathon, the training for the marathon, the conversion of the office, having the little man, the link up, the merch drop. So we've had a real good year, but I'd love to say I'm not afraid to say the challenges. I'm always a bit reserved about them. I think over the last 3 or 4 months, again, not afraid to admit it, but also a little bit fearful of how it comes across. But definitely say that I've lost myself a bit. I really have. I think, I was saying to someone not so long ago, looking at old photos and the old sort of things that I used to do when it come down to self-improvement and bettering myself. I feel like I didn't really recognize that part of me, which is a really strange thing to say. And I have just had to install it into myself to say, do you know what? If you've done X, Y, Z for X amount of time, but you need to refocus your priorities or refocus certain areas because of certain things happening, that's absolutely fine. And I think a lot of us can go through these cycles of feeling like we've lost ourselves and we might not even recognize the person we was. Don't get me wrong, this has come from a place now of reality and understanding and rationalizing my thoughts. But that isn't the case. If there's certain things that I've done in the past or certain things that have happened in the past that have been pushed by, achieved by me in X, Y, Z, that's something that I've done, regardless of what my thought processes are or have been. No one can take that away from you. And regardless of how I feel, I can't take it away from myself. So it's been that real battle of, feeling as though that what has happened to that person that would do X, Y, Z at X, Y, Z time to get X, Y, Z outcome. I've had this massive sort of overwhelming feel of guilt as well. Overwhelming guilt when it comes down to, I guess, as a parent, the frequency of what I'm doing towards my goals. For a period of time, I lost myself. The most important thing, I think, is that I swear by it, I say to people, I practice it in this sense. There isn't ever going to be any period of time where you hold your hands up and say, I'm not going to carry on trying. And that's something that I hold with high importance in what I do. Regardless of the knockbacks, regardless of the challenges, there's never going to be a time where I say, fine, I'll give up. It's that simple. And this is more referring to, regaining myself in terms of the routine and the structure that I want. At this current time, I feel great. I must say, it feels like it's been a long time since I felt like this. And understanding that certain things aren't just going to happen because I want them to. Understanding the difference between a need and the difference between a want. For example, training in the mornings, 5 a.m. I'm not a morning person, at all. Separating those two would be my desire, would be to train mid-afternoon or the evening. Never been someone that could train in the mornings. However, there's a big however. That might be the desire or might be the want, but what's the need? What do I know is a necessity for me to fill my own cup, to make sure that I am the best person, the best parent, the best partner, the best coach that I can be. That then becomes a need. So do I want to train at 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning? No. Is it a need given where I am currently? Absolutely it is. I'm reinstalling that element of understanding certain things can be controlled. I would say it's another string to my bow with being a parent. Don't get me wrong, I haven't changed as a person, if anything. If anything, I thought I'd grow up a little bit more. But I understand it a lot more now. I'm going to consider that a string to the bow for sure. But I am going to be more consistent with YouTube. I'm not going to commit to any certain posting times or frequency. This is a bit of a pledge, a bit of a New Year's resolution that it's going to happen. 2026 is going to be a good year. Really exciting plans. It's going to be a year of ticking some good boxes. Goal-wise for me personally, I've got a few resolutions, which at some point I'm sure I'll share. Some exciting stuff, business as well. Super excited. This is the sort of thing that I need to be pushing for. And sometimes you need to remind yourself, number one, of what you're capable of. And number two, have that level of assertiveness. In order to trust yourself and gain your own trust again, you have to trust your word and your commitment. If you're saying you're going to push to do X, Y, Z, but you don't say it to anyone other than yourself, and you don't do that, you don't follow through with your promises that you've made to yourself, very likely you're not going to trust yourself. You're not going to have to push yourself that one extra yard, if you like. Usually the metric I use, but listen, we are where we are. In all honesty, it was just a bit more of a life update, a bit more behind what I have been doing. And don't get me wrong, I'll make a joke out of anything. I'm holding back so hard right now. But as much as it will always be jovial, and there's going to be an element of seriousness as well. And I think that's very much so important. With that being said, 2025 was a very, very good year, very fortunate year. Whatever I planned and didn't push the button on in 2025, it's happening this year. Mark my words. Join me on the journey. We go again. Let's get it.